This is the Pocket Monster Manual. I'm Wooly Shambler here with MD,
Hey, it's me first this time.
Moogle,
I'm back again.
Raisinbran,
Hello.
Rusty,
It's a whole new world we live in.
Shiny,
Hey.
Animage, and Specs.
Rusty stole my thing, so now I got nothing to say.
It's the wrap-up episode of Gen 2. We're talking about Pokemon Gold and Silver.
And Crystal.
And Crystal.
And Crystal. You better be putting in lots of fucking good music in this space, because there's a lot of excellent music in this game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good music. As a person who hasn't played probably most of the Pokemon games now, I think this one has the best music. Am I wrong?
I agree.
It does, yeah.
I don't know if best, but it's like very high up there. The town themes are like really, really good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good.
It's got some good music. I wouldn't say the best.
No, you like Ruby and Sapphire, don't you? With the
Yeah.
trumpets.
Yeah.
Trumpets.
I can fall asleep to the surfing music. I love the surfing music so much.
It's real comfy.
Yeah, it is.
Which one is that?
It's the one that goes like this.
Ah, now I see.
Ah, excellent. Yes, I remember this one now.
Wow, I'm glad we all heard that.
I really like how in Heart Gold and Soul Silver you get like the radio that lets you change back to the retro soundtrack as well if you want it. And I think they did a really good job with remastering them as well, because like they don't sound any worse. Like some remakes you get and it's like, oh, actually I prefer the original music, but you can listen interchangeably and they're both good.
When it comes to Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I think we can probably all agree that they are the best Pokemon games.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I would say so.
No.
No.
It's between them and Black and White for me, but...
I like black and white a lot.
Why don't you guys like Heart Gold and Soul Silver? Is there any particular reason, or are there just others you prefer?
So I think Heart Gold Souls are really good. My favorites in the series are Black and White 2, personally.
Fair.
Same.
The big thing with Heart Gold Soul Silver that I really dislike is the level curve in this game is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once you hit Ecruteak City, you are fighting level 20s for like a third of the game, and it sucks because the whole game opens up when you get to that point. Like, you can fight like 3 or 4 gyms in any order, and there's like the Team Rocket shit. And so the game is like, you can do this in any order, and because of that, everything is just the same level. And so it's just a slog and it's boring.
Yeah,
Once you get past
I
that
get
part,
that.
it's like, it's better, but it kills a lot of the enjoyment for me.
But then you get back to Kanto, and it gets even worse.
True. Okay, Kanto was the reason that I didn't like Gold and Silver as much as I would have.
Wow, okay.
Because you go back and it feels like when you go back to like one of your favorite places as a kid and then you realize it's actually shit.
Yep.
Like, that's what it feels like, because like Cinnabar is gone, it's just a fucking volcano. They've uprooted all the graves in Lavender to make it a fucking radio station. Mount Moon is just like a tourist spot and there's nothing there. It's just like, oh, actually this wasn't as good as I remember it being. But obviously it still is good in the actual Kanto, but Johto's Kanto is really sad.
And not to mention Cerulean Cave caved in with all those Pokemon.
All the adventure and all the drama in Gen 1 already went down. What's left?
I don't know, if you're gonna have it there, make something else happen.
Look, it's the post-game anyway. Like, you've already beaten the game at that point.
Okay, I have a lot to say about the term post-game. So here's the thing. Okay, sure, you beat the champion before you go to Kanto. Kanto is literally like half the game. Kanto is not post-game. Period.
But it is post-game that they only got in because Iwata squeezed it in because their code was so shit.
Yeah.
I don't care, it's still part of the game.
But you still have all 8 gyms and you still have a second round of Pokemon League. It's still like 50% of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
But is the game up until the point where you go to Kanto as long as the original game was?
I would say no.
No. Johto in general is just shorter.
As a kid, I really appreciated going back to Kanto because it was like, wow, now there's all this extra stuff to do as well. And I can understand as an adult being like, well, the level curve's bad, and also a lot of the Pokemon that you'd hope to get in the main bulk of the game are in Kanto for some reason, like new Pokemon are there. But as a kid, it was like, oh wow, I get to go back and like, with my new Pokemon, go through this area that I already know really well from playing Red and Yellow and Blue. So I thought it was dope, and I thought it was cool that they like changed some of the locations, like the radio tower was where the gravesite was and stuff like that in Lavender Town.
Yeah, I agree.
I think conceptually being able to revisit the first region is really cool. I just feel like they didn't do the best they could with it.
Yeah.
It felt kind of sad to go back to because it's like, oh, what's happened to this place? Like that's what it felt like to me, even as a child.
I mean, the cartridge was chock full, right? They couldn't add anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like the problem was they did do the best they could, and that's what we got.
Yeah, and I would rather they hadn't.
Yeah, honestly. When you compare it to like the Space World beta where Kanto in a whole was just like a piddly little town, it's much better, but...
Wow.
Did Heart Gold and Soul Silver address any of the level curve problems?
Yes.
No.
Well, yes and no. There's like one spot where like there is a better level things, but honestly, it didn't really change it at all, quite frankly.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I seem to remember overall that the level curve was a little bit better because they added more shit to do in Kanto. Like there were extra like side things to do, like Suicune was like a Kanto thing.
So Kanto is more fleshed out in Gen 4 than it is in base Gold, Silver, Crystal. So the Kanto's is still better, but like the level curve thing that I'm talking about, that's like pre-Elite Four, like when you hit Ikritique.
Yeah, that's not fixed at all.
I always felt like Gen 2 was just like an expansion pack instead of a sequel. I think like it's the only gen where like I go through and I feel like I only really see like Gen 1 Pokemon compared to like the newer ones.
Yeah, I get that.
It also obviously had the smallest like new number of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't have a lot of new Pokemon, and the new Pokemon that were there, a lot of them were related to ones that already existed, so in that way it did kind of feel like an expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the new Pokemon in this game are either like tied to Kanto stuff, or a lot of them are like really like mediocre. Like, I mean, not in terms of design, I think a lot of them look really good, but a lot of them are like really weak, and there's a lot of like random one-off Pokemon that end up getting evolutions later on to make them better, but there's just a lot of like, it almost feels like filler at times in already small decks.
I feel like maybe that's partially to do with the level curve though, because you just get a lot of weak Pokemon that you're fighting anyway, so it makes sense to have a lot of weak Pokemon that you can get, perhaps.
It could also have been just like because obviously they had the extra ideas that they couldn't put into the original game, so it could have just been like, right, let's throw all of these extra ideas that we couldn't make in time, and make like a little extra thing that became the second game, as they had to kind of expand it to live up to the demand that they were facing with the ones being so successful.
Yeah. Like, as much as I've ragged on this, I want to say that I think these games made some really, really great improvements, such as breeding and held items and like balance changes with the types.
First games to introduce like different daytime and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yep.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah, day and night.
That was an excellent addition.
Which they then removed and then put back in.
Yeah, why remove that? It was cool.
Oh, and the calendar. Like, days of the week.
Yeah, Lapras only shows up on Friday, right?
Yeah.
The whole clock and calendar system is a really neat little touch, you know?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Is the bug catching contest only available on certain days as well?
Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays.
You're going to get your hair done or massage done on certain days as well.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It felt like there was like a proto... I don't know how to describe it, kind of like Animal Crossing, where they want you to do certain things at certain times and they want you to play it in a particular way.
Yep.
Yeah.
It felt like there was a particular time management is what I'm probably thinking of, a time management thing.
Which I can appreciate.
It made it cool though, because it was like, oh, I haven't caught, say, Noctowl yet. I've got to stay up a bit late or play in the evening and then I can catch it. It was like...
I have to stay up past my bedtime.
It made sense though for like some animals are nocturnal, some Pokemon are nocturnal. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You only find some in certain areas. You only find some at certain times of the day.
Yeah.
Maybe even you could expand that to you only find some at certain times of the year, which we kind of had in Black and White with like dealing, didn't we? But
Yeah.
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 not exactly the same.
Certain trainers during certain times of the day as well. The police only come out at night
officers.
to do patrols and stuff.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cops.
Pokemon's a series where they're like, oh, you remember those things that we did for the last game? Let's get rid of those and just make a new
Yeah.
gimmick and ignore what we had before. Because that's something that should have stayed throughout the whole series, I think, is time of day.
Yeah, day and night has been so weird with this series. Like, it keeps coming back and leaving and coming back. Like, it was in Gen 2, wasn't anywhere in Gen 3, then it was back in Gen 4, then in Gen 5 there was no...
But aside from day and night, all of the different things that they've added and removed, they haven't brought back again, really. Actually, no, I guess the Pokemon walking behind you they brought back.
Another reason I really like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, though, is because you've got Pokemon following behind you. It's great.
Yep.
Yes.
And you can talk to them.
Do you know what else Heart Gold, Soul Silver have?
What?
Voltorb Flip, motherfucker.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah! Play the Voltorb Flip music right now!
Flip.
Oh my god, the best thing that Pokemon has ever done is Voltorb Flip.
So fun.
Hands down.
It's basically Minesweeper, isn't it?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's very different.
It's like Minesweeper crossed with Sudoku.
Yes.
Yes. No, not Sudoku. It's the Picross.
Picross, yeah.
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 Minesweeper
There's lots of different
crossed
elements
with
in it.
Picross, and it's fucking sick. It's so good.
That was when they started phasing out the gambling aspect of Pokemon because it was kind of unseemly.
Yeah, because it's a children's game.
To be fair, they replaced it with the fucking best thing possible, so yeah, good on them.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Gen 2 in general kind of turned Pokemon from just like playing a game to a big old time sink when you really think about it.
Truly.
Between like eggs, breeding, looking for shinies, and shit like that.
I feel like Gen 1 had a very, very simple thing that it was trying to do, which is like a very basic portable JRPG.
Collect,
Yeah.
battle.
Collecting and battling, that's your two things.
I think breeding was a really good thing to introduce, actually, because it's like the natural evolution of trade, because you can only get these Pokemon if you've bred them, so you only get the baby Pokemon that way. But also it feeds into how you can min-max your Pokemon, and like it gives you a reason to... The first game was too simple. There wasn't enough you could do with the stats, maybe, whereas breeding gives you a reason to like get egg moves and get good IVs, which are a bit difficult to understand as a kid and like see, because it requires a lot of calculations, but for the hardcore sort of players it's like it's something to do in the game once you've done everything else.
I mean, it's real frustrating in early gens to get perfect Pokemon if you desperately want perfect Pokemon.
Yeah.
But it's doable and it's something you'd strive for.
The breeding's also there to help you complete your Pokedex. Like, if you wanted to complete your dex, you needed the 2 of the starters, but no one's going to give you their starter.
Yeah.
So being able to breed another starter and then pass it on is a good compromise.
Also introduced in Crystal female characters.
Yay.
And how many lovely little ladies have come out of that? Very good stuff. Well done, Crystal.
Love Chris.
Trendsetter.
Also male and female Pokemon as well.
Yes.
True, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they had male and female variants of the same Pokemon though, did they? Except like stuff like Nidoran, I guess.
No, it wasn't until Gen 4.
Yeah, Gen 4 had the heart tail and the other like stuff. Yeah, okay.
Can we talk about the arrival of Gen 2 and how awesome he is?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Silver's probably my favorite.
Okay, so speak up if you named your rival 3 question marks.
Yes, I did. I was going to ask this question if no one else did. Yep.
No.
No.
Just to troll the cop.
He said, my name's question mark, and I'm gonna rule the world. And I'm like, okay, go off.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck else am I supposed to do? He told me that was his name.
Yeah. Same. That's why I called him that.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm so glad that they changed the way that he's introduced in
Heart Gold.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver, so you like find his ID instead, and it's like, oh, that's what his name is, and you just fucking...
I named him Ass.
I think Silver was a much more interesting rival arc than Blue ever was. I fucking do not like the Gen 1 rival. I think he's super boring.
Oh, agreed.
One thing I love about Silver is that, like, oftentimes with Pokemon storytelling, it's all, they usually, like, they tell you, they don't really show you, it's just all text, but they do, like, a great thing where, like, he's pretty bad to his Pokemon, so his Golbat never evolves, but then, like, at the end of the game, when he realizes it, the Golbat finally evolves, and they don't really mention it at all, but it's like a good like bit of storytelling through gameplay, which I really appreciate.
That's subtle. That's nice.
He becomes nicer, but you're not friends.
No.
Like, he's never good to you still.
No.
Yeah, but he becomes a better like trainer though, is the point, right? He becomes nicer to his Pokemon, which is like
Still an
it's
asshole.
yeah.
Is he the last asshole rival?
I think so, yeah.
He's the last competent one, I would say.
I want to talk about this. Yeah, I think rivals in Pokemon have been really disappointing since Gen 1 and 2. There haven't really been any good ones since.
I disagree, but
When I say competence, by the way, I don't mean like in terms of what they do with their Pokemon and how interesting they are to fight. I mean in terms of the story and...
Yeah, it's because they're actually trying to beat you, because they want to beat you. They're your rival.
Yes.
They're not your fucking friend.
my personal favorite is the Gen 4 rival, so it's whatever, like...
Yes.
Oh, I fucking hate that kid.
I love Barry.
Every single rival since is your friend, and when you beat them, they just go, huh, well, GG, buddy, I'll talk to you later. That doesn't feel satisfying.
Would you consider N a rival?
N's not really a rival, though, is he? He's more...
I would say he's a rival.
I think he's a rival because he's a recurring fight.
N's the rival the same way Giovanni's a rival.
No, that's not true.
No.
I'd agree with that.
I would agree with Mitch on that. Just because they're reoccurring doesn't make them a rival. It makes them a character in the story.
Gen 5 has like 3 different rivals, 4 different recurring like trainers that you keep fighting constantly. Yeah, I would struggle to say whether he's the rival or
There's
not.
another kid in Gen 5 who's actually a rival, isn't
It's
there?
Sharon, isn't it?
Sharon.
Sharon.
Yeah, but he's still your friend.
Yeah.
He's not a dickbag.
I mean, he's still kind of motivated, but not quite in the way that he needs to be. And Bianca is just, oh, I'm incompetent. Oh, I'm a ditz.
Yeah, that other girl doesn't care
Poor
at all.
Bianca. She was out of her depth anyway. She admits it. I was gonna bring up how much I love the world building in Gen 2 compared to Gen 1.
Yes.
Gen 1 felt like such a generic fantasy world, which isn't bad, but then Johto turns it distinctly Japanese. I love it.
Yep.
I wanted to talk about that too. Like, I think like a lot of the regions are like a little like on the bland side. Like I think Kanto is, and there's a few others. But like I think Johto is got such like a distinctly it's Johto. Like you play like a song from Johto, I'm immediately like that's Johto. Like the way the region is designed, especially in Heart Gold Soul Silver, like I don't know, it's just got such a great like theme and like culture to it.
Such a beautiful aesthetic too.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's more traditional. Like there's traditional Japanese buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you enter the homes, you can still recognize it. Oh, there's this floor mat, and take off your shoes, please.
This has base in geography, because the Kyoto area, which Johto is based on, is the one that didn't get bombed during the war. Tokyo was burnt to shreds, so they had to build it all up with modern buildings, which Kanto consists of.
On the one hand, Gen 1 had like a sci-fi storyline with the resurrection of Mewtwo, and then Gen 2 is more mysticism with like the 3 roaming dogs and Lugia and Ho-Oh.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Yeah.
that's kind of lost its appeal these days because every single generation after it is, oh, this is the mystical legendary Pokemon of time and space, and these mystical Pokemon control the sea and the ground, and here are all their temples.
He's fucking God.
Gen 1 and 2 both have a strong theme, and so does Gen 3 with, like, it has an environmental theme.
Yes.
Yep.
But Gen 4 and on.
I do love the biblical Leviathan, Behemoth, and the Griffin counterparts, but that's just because I'm a fan of that. But I just feel like now that Gen 2 is established as a mystical setting, but now every other gen after that, even the most recent one with the dogs and the murals and whatever, I feel like it's kind of lost its luster as opposed to being two sides of the same coin with Kanto.
Part of it as well is in Johto, like while you've got Ho-Oh and Lugia and they're like the box Pokemon, you don't ever have to go and do them.
No.
Whereas the story in all of the subsequent games revolves around the team is trying to steal or capture this Pokemon.
That's true.
Groudon,
Yeah.
Dialga, Palkia. So it's like it's shown to you again. It's like a show don't tell kind of thing. It's like you're given hints about Ho-Oh and Lugia and you can go find them yourself, so it feels like you're doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas the other games drag you through that story and it's not special because you know everyone has had to do that before they can beat the Elite Four.
They did that with Gen 2 with Pokemon Crystal, though. The box legendary is the one you have to fight and catch.
And in Heart Gold Soul Silver, you're forced to fight
Yeah.
Ho and Lugia, and which I don't like.
Yeah.
Which I'd say is bad, actually. Yeah, it's a bad change.
Who's your favorite gym leader?
Oh, Claire! Easy, bitch! Claire, my girl! My dragon girl!
Nah, she's a fucking baby.
Can I tell you another thing that bugs me real quick? Only, like, what, 2 or 3 of the gym leaders here, their signature Pokemon are, like, Johto. The other 5 are from Kanto, and it's really fucking annoying and drives home the point that irritating.
Yeah, I get you.
Chuck is the best, by the way.
I think the leaders in this game are way weaker than in Kanto. I think they're fairly unmemorable.
I think my favorite's Morty out of them.
Does Faulkner even use any... Faulkner and Morty don't use any...
He uses Noctowl, doesn't he?
I don't think he uses Noctowl. He might use a Hoot Hoot, maybe. Does he use a Pidgey and a Pidgeotto?
Faulkner uses Pidgeotto. The only ones that use a Johto Pokemon are Whitney, Claire,
Titney.
and Price. Oh, and Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Jasmine uses a
Jasmine has
Steelix.
Still, that's half the gen. Like, come on.
Also, you got to remember Janine is a new gym leader as well from Kanto.
Oh yeah.
Koga's daughter.
Takes over from her dad. Yeah.
That's a cool
That's
thing.
cool. I like
Because
that.
Koga's
That's
in the
really
Elite
cool.
Four in this one, isn't he?
Yeah.
He graduated.
That's good.
And I like how Blue became a gym leader as well. That's like a nice touch.
He takes over Giovanni's gin, doesn't he?
Meanwhile, Red is just sitting in a cave.
Being a badass.
That's a nice little touch as well at the end.
Yeah, that you fight yourself from the other game.
It would be nice if there was a way to get the data from
Yeah.
you on the previous game, like
Yeah.
where you were when you beat the Elite Four. That's how strong your Pokemon are, potentially, but...
All of them level 100.
Or if you like traded with someone who was on Gen 1, that it would like transfer their Hall of Fame data to you or
It would
something.
be
Yeah.
so funny if they did that because it would, for so many people, it would
like
just
one
be like
strong
level
Pokemon.
100 starter and then like a Metapod.
Randomly trade with a guy with 6 Mewtwo's and just get fucked.
Alright. Favorite Pokemon from Gen 2 Dunsparce?
Well, barring the starters, because Typhlosion line is my favorite of the starter Pokemon, I like Kingdra a lot. I used Kingdra, I think it's a cool, even though it's a trade evolution. Steelix is a really cool Pokemon, and I think it's a good evolution of Onix. Heracross, Sneasel.
Ooh.
Heracross is good, yeah.
I really like Crobat.
Crobat's on my list, definitely.
The top 3 from this gen, easy.
Crobat's a good boy. He's a good lad.
Tyranitar, that line.
Scizor.
Scizor, yes.
I never got to use Sizzle.
Donphan. I love Donphan.
I think my favorites are probably like Dunsparce, Crobat, and Hitmontop from this gen, and I love Dunsparce and I would die for it, so...
My favorite used to be Sneasel, but having done this Pocket Monster manual, it is now Stantler. I love Stantler.
Yes,
Himmoosas, baby!
Stantler.
Moses.
I was going to ask, due to doing this podcast, have you changed your opinions on any?
Definitely. There's Pokemon, you see the design and you're like, that's a really cool design. I like the look of this Pokemon. And then you read about them and they're really boring. Whereas Stantler is like the opposite. It's like, oh, you know, nobody gives Stantler the time of day because it's just like a normal type. You read its dex entries and you're like, what? This
Yes.
thing is like balls ass powerful. Where is this in the game? It's not there. But yeah, I really liked Stantler's entries more than many things.
There's lots of Pokemon that they just kind of tried to ignore after Gen 2 and pretend that they don't exist. Dunsparce being probably the major one there. Like, no one seems to like Dunsparce at Game Freak at all.
Dunsparce has cool entries as well, but Dunsparce has changed a lot since beta, and there were beta dex entries for it that, like, one, it looked completely different, it looked really sinister, and two, it was, like, really vindictive, wasn't it?
Yep.
An evil badman.
Good old Delibird.
Oh, fuck Delibird. He's terrible.
With this generation, I have ones that I like the most out of this generation, but there's nothing in this generation that is a favorite Pokemon for me. Do you know what I mean? Aside from maybe
Well, what's your favorite from this gen?
Misdreavus. I like ghosts.
Misdreavus is very cool.
Houndoom.
Houndoom, of course. Hail Satan.
There's so many throwaway Pokemon in this gen, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it really feels like they went, oops, we had to cut all of these, let's just throw them in real quick. It goes back to that expansion pack thing I was talking about, like...
Yeah, exactly.
It feels kind of like maybe it comes back to that expansion thing where these are the ideas that maybe they had for Gen 1 that they couldn't fit into that, and they went, well, how can we do something with this? And they just went through some
Exactly.
iterations until they hit on something that fit.
Yep.
I don't know.
That is what it feels like.
In terms of things I will give this dex, though, I like that it's a little bit more unique than many of them because, like, you don't have a 3-stage bird-type Pokemon. You've got Noctowl and Hoot Hoot, and they're not just it's a flying type. They're sort of are they psychic?
They normal
they're
flying.
just normal
They're
flying.
normal and flying.
They are, in fact, it's a flying type.
Well, that invalidates my point. So
But they do learn psychic type moves though. They are unique in that they learn different moves.
They function very differently from the usual normal flying, but like pretty much all of them fill like the same niche of like fast physical attacker, whereas these guys are like they're very bulky and they like have better special attacks. So at
Yeah.
least they took it in a different direction.
I just like that it's not like a 3-stage evolution, and the same with the bugs. Like they're not exactly the same as they were in previous. You got 2 stages rather than 3 stages. That's got sort of the cocoon stage in the middle, which comes back again later in like
Gen 3.
in Gen 3 and
Yeah.
in Gen 5 we had 2 sets of bugs that were 3 stages, didn't we?
Those ones are amazing though.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get on to like Scolipede and Venipede. I love those, but. Hey guys, Specs here. Just to let you know, if you're listening on YouTube, then I've edited the video to show pictures of the beta Pokemon we talk about in the next section. I'll try to do this from now on with the Gen 3 episodes as well, if there's anything we're talking about that's more visual. If you're listening on the go, then you can always just check the description later for links to these pictures as well. We had new beta leaks from the Space World demos recently, which we haven't talked about throughout the series. We had one of the beta leaks, but not the newest thing. Anything you guys want to say about like the new set of Pokemon? It's really there's a lot of new stuff there that I think is worth talking about.
Wasn't there a seal balancing like a molten rock on its nose?
Yeah, and it's fire water.
Water fire type?
Way better than the fire water type we got.
I love this thing that's just a ball.
That describes a lot of Pokemon. I love this thing, but it's just a ball.
Things that I find interesting, you've got a mid-evolution for Natu and Xatu, which shows that it's like, before it gets the coat over its giant long legs, it does just have like a pair of stalk legs.
Wait, so like it was just a psychic roadrunner? What the fuck?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
There were weird beta designs for like Sneasel.
Yeah, he was more of a mongoose, wasn't he? Like, it actually made it look a lot more like a mongoose.
Yeah.
What is this one right after Xatu? He looks like he needs to die. Like he looks like he's wanting death.
That's a Doduo pre-evolved.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's a Doduo Prevo, yeah.
I like the Scorpion.
Me too. It looks like a little lava spawn. There's Tentaquil.
Tentaquil.
There's a different version of Wooper that looks like Mudkip as well. It's on all fours.
Oh my god, yes, I've seen this guy. He's so cute.
Isn't he?
I love it.
Oh,
Look at him go.
We should have made that legit.
Row 11, third from the left. What the fuck is that thing? It's terrifying.
Oh yeah, the Xenomorph thing.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I love it.
The only thing I can think of, maybe it was like a pre-Mawile or something, because of the big head.
That's a fossil, mate.
I think it was a fossil Pokemon, probably.
That's a fossil, 100%.
It does look fossily, yeah.
There are no fossil Pokemons in Gen 2.
There's not.
No, there aren't. There's nothing new.
There are some really questionable designs in here. 2 over from that fossil thing is this weird ass bee thing.
That's not a good look, is it?
That might be Proto Yanma.
I'm wondering if it's a Proto Yanma. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
And then there's the Viking Longboat.
There is a Viking Longboat.
I love that one.
There is just no unified art style here.
No, there isn't.
I agree.
I think there's some designs here that are good that
Yes.
I'm sad we didn't see.
Yeah.
The ones I'm saddest about, I think, are Hoppip, Skiploom, Jumpfluff. I wish they'd kept the design from the beta because I like how
Yes.
they look like cats. I like the little ghost, the little Japanese-style ghost with like the triangle on its head. It looks really cute.
Oh, yeah, he's
yeah.
real cute.
Oh, he's cute.
It's like, hello!
This gen definitely need more ghosts because we only got Miss Drevis.
Yeah.
I love the jumping vampire panda thing.
Oh, is it a Jiangshi? Is it like a Jiangshi or something?
Oh yeah, the Jiangshi.
Yeah, Jiangshi Pokemon. I think that's
Yes.
so good. And I wish it was real.
Row below the Jiangshi is probably my favourite, which is the electric tigers.
Oh, I love those guys.
No.
Like, the pre-evolution is
I think
extremely
they're
cute,
so
and the second one is
Hamtaro
a
there.
round boy, and I like round boys.
Here's something I think we can all agree on is I'm so glad that the legendary dogs do not look like this.
Oh,
Yes,
man, they look rough.
terrible.
oh, that's supposed to be the dogs.
Looks like the worst deviant art
no.
kind of shit.
Is that Burmy and Motham?
It is, yeah.
Oh shit! I think that's definitely Burmy, or is it Proto Pineco? Because it's also a bagworm.
I don't know, because look at the Motham right next to it.
True.
There's a lot of stuff that got reused. Like, that same row that you're on now.
Kamala.
There's a koala.
Is that Komala, dude? He's even got a fucking stick.
Yeah, that's Kamala. That's Kamala.
Yes, Kamala.
Down a couple of rows as well, you've got Minccino. You got like a mouse with big ears. It's not quite the same, but I think that probably became
Yeah.
Minccino's design.
Yeah. Cyndaquil is technically there, but I think people were saying that it doesn't have the typing that it has in the final build.
Yeah.
I think it's an ice type in this
It's
one.
either ice or poison, people are saying.
Can we talk about this Noctowl that's just a really fat Pidgeotto?
Dude, yeah.
It's awesome.
I do like the Chonky Boy, yes, he's very good.
I'm pissed off that we got Licky Licky and we didn't get that Lickitung evolution because I love that guy.
He's good,
Yeah.
I
lad.
love the fucking Moroccan souk Lickitung. He's great. Have you guys seen Celebi as well? Proto Celebi from the 99 build looks like it is about to just die from hunger.
Oh my
Is that Mumbo Jumbo?
Ikom
Welcome.
No! Someone feed it!
This original version of Girafarig is so much better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
It makes more sense being a palindrome when it's actually like a palindrome.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
While I appreciate that some of them changed, like Remoraid, Octillery, they looked better in beta.
Yes.
Girafarig looked better in beta.
Those were the biggest losses, I think.
Also, the cloister that would be biting onto Slowpoke's tail is its own thing as well in this.
Which I would have appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That probably got cut due to, like, programming issues, I think. There's also Leafeon. Leafeon is just in these
Leafeon's
beta.
there, yeah.
Oh, wait, really?
I like how dopey the Quillfish looks.
The thing is, that might not be Quillfish because there is Quillfish just in these as well.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the Quillfish we got, and there's another Porcupine fish just kind of there.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think of the starters that they were gonna have compared with the starters that we got?
So which ones were the starters?
So, these are your waters.
I think that's adorable.
Hate it.
I'm fine with this.
Dippy, Zippy, and Squidoo.
Dippy, Sippy, and Squiddo.
What the fuck? What's in between Chikorita and Meganium?
I think it's a placeholder, personally.
Probably. There's no way they could have, like...
Yeah, that can't be like.
Oh god, I'm just imagining Chikorita's head exploding and this thing popping out. I think that if it was Chikorita, Bayleaf, and Meganium, and then we still had these old starters instead of Quilava and Totodile, I think I would prefer Chikorita as my favourite of the starter, and I don't like that. I don't like that idea.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, I'd agree.
Completely
I'd agree
agreed.
with that, yeah. Does anyone have a favourite revelation from the Pokédex, or something that has really changed their opinion on a Pokemon for the better or worse that makes them just think, oh god?
I think all of you are going to say Stantler.
Stantler was great, other than Stantler though.
Houndoom shoots literal hellfire and brimstone, like actual brimstone.
I love that one.
Yeah, it never stops burning if you get hit with it.
I don't know if you guys know this, but actually Suicune comes from the North Winds. And can also, like, clean dirty water. That was my favorite for sure.
He's like a vegan for wind.
Wind.
I never knew Hoot and Noctowl was so linked to time as they were.
That was great, yeah, I like that.
I guess I never really looked at their design too closely to see who was like a big clock or whatever.
With the hands, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize that either for a while.
I really liked the revelation that Hitmontop is actually a spinning top with a ripcord for a tail. That was a really cool thing, so I appreciate that more now. And I like the Elekid. I didn't realise until now that Elekid's head is like a plug socket.
Yeah, it is.
Did you not?
Yeah, I didn't notice it either, to be
How?
honest.
Oh my god. And it looks like your plug socket, Bran.
I know!
Yeah, I know.
Can we talk a bit about the bug catching contest? Unless anyone wants to say anything else about the decks.
It sucks.
I hate how I was literally playing it the other day and I caught a Scyther and I got third place because the other two caught Scythers. I was like, what the fuck? How do you decide that? You can't just look at my Scyther and go, yours is stupid.
I remember thinking it was a really cool concept. Like,
It's my favourite thing to do in Johto.
My favorite thing to do in Johto is actually in Gen 4, the Pokeathlon.
oh yeah.
Oh, Pokeathlon, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fun.
That was so much fun.
Things we missed that this gen introduced. Mystery Gift.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Gen 2 thing.
The only thing I recall the infrared being used for,
What did Mystery Gift do? I don't think I ever used it.
a random item.
Would you have to connect to anything, or was it just you'd get something?
Other people.
Yeah, you use the Game Boy Color's infrared.
Game Boy Color had infrared.
Also, if you connected it to Pokemon Stadium 2, I think you get them.
Was it a thing that you could also connect it with a phone in Japan and get Celebi that way, or is that a different thing?
You could do that in Pokemon Crystal, I think. You could hook it up via a phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just remembered one of my favourite things that doesn't really do anything to the gameplay, but that I loved, was you could send money home to your mum, and then your
yeah.
room would get more decorated the more money
Yes.
she had. She'd buy you like Snorlax dolls.
This is how I found out about the Virtual Boy.
So this has relevance if you have Pokemon Stadium 2, because you can actually walk around your room in 3D in Pokemon Stadium 2 if you connect your game to it.
It was good. The telephone system as well, we haven't really touched on. You could re-challenge trainers because they'd call you up and say, my Rattata is in the top 10% of all Rattatas.
The phone. Yeah.
Was his Rattata actually good in terms of what were they,
No.
DVs at the time?
No.
Presumably, were they not? That's a shame.
No, that was a myth that someone made up.
Did they fix that in the Gen 4 remakes?
No.
Not to my knowledge.
Because that would have been like an optimal time to just go back and just like make it like a perfect Rattata, you know?
That'd be funny. Or a shiny, if they just made it a shiny Rattata.
The phone calls also helped you know what Pokemon are available where, if there were like a rare Pokemon that had turned up.
Oh yeah, swarming.
Yeah.
Swarming was a thing in this game, right?
Yes, it was.
What's swarming? I don't know about this.
You could listen to like Professor Oak's like talk show, and he'd be like, "Oh, there's like a lot of this Pokemon on this route." So like Yanma, for example, is normally like a 1% chance on the route.
I thought that people had to call you. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, Bugcatcher Arnie, for example, I remember this fucker. He would constantly call me, telling me, oh, there's Yanma! There's Yanma everywhere! Help!
There's so much Yanma!
God, hell, pest control!
They're breaking all of the windows! Run for your life!
Like, they're near Goldenrod as well, aren't they? Imagine, like, the heat of summer where, like, the Goldenrod tower has to replace all of its windows every fucking day because Yanma keep breaking them.
I've just remembered we haven't talked about apricorns at all, or...
I'll tell you why, because they didn't fucking work. They were bugged in the game, whereby most of the Pokeballs that you got didn't do what they say they did. The fastball or whatever that make it easier to catch Pokemon that you've already caught doesn't work.
The Moonball one. Can I tell you about the Moonball one? This one's amazing. So, it's supposed to be good at catching Pokemon that evolve with a Moonstone, but because this was Gen 2, it was bugged. And do you know what it was good at catching at? It was good at catching Pokemon that evolved with a Burn Heal.
Excellent.
Oh my god.
I like the concept of apricorn balls, though, and I'm sure they fixed them later for...
They did.
In the remakes they did, yeah.
Is there anything anyone wants to say, get off their chest before we wrap up?
I just wish that they'd done more with the weirdness around the Ruins of Alpha. I wish they'd done more with it.
Yeah, Ruins of Alpha is so cool, and there's like nothing there. Just like a puzzle of a Kabuto.
Yeah. It looks cool on the surface, and then you do it, and there's actually nothing, really.
Yeah, true.
When you guys think of Gen 2 playing it back in the day, what's the first memory that comes to mind?
The time that I traded Mew for an Azumarill. Yeah.
Ooh. But you said you liked that. That was your favourite thing you did.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think of.
Oh, I got it. I was bad at Pokemon. I didn't know where most things were, and I was also a very lonely kid. So what I did was I used the mail system to write letters to the NPCs.
Oh my god.
Just to see if they would answer back.
I did that too.
That's so cute.
And even though I couldn't send them to them, but I wrote a letter to Bill to see if he knew where Surf was. And I wrote a letter to Misty to be my girlfriend, I think I did that.
God. The amount of immersion you have as a kid when playing video games is unbelievable. You don't see the strings at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a system you're interacting with. You're in that actual world.
You can never go back to that, which is the real sad part. You know?
Yeah.
Like, my defining memory of this is finding Trainer Red for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Finding him as a kid just blows your mind.
My defining memory is we were visiting my grandparents in Germany, and I knew that at midnight on Sundays there would be Clefairies on Mount Moon, and you would find a moonstone there. So I quote-unquote stole the Game Boy Color and the game, and I remember hiding in the bathroom at midnight and actually finding that moonstone, yes.
Nice.
It's legit.
I remember my cousin told me that there's like Chansey that's like super rare on the route that is east of Fuchsia. So apparently there's Chansey that's like 1%. And so he like play tricks on me a lot. So like I looked for a while, but then I was eventually just like, no, I don't buy it. And then he showed me that he found one, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep looking for it. And I looked forever. I finally found one, but by then I'd already like left, and I didn't see him for like another year. And so I was trying to show my friend like, hey, there's this Chansey on this route, and I looked for like 2 hours while she's like hanging out with me, and then she like left, and then I found the Chansey in the next encounter. I'm like, god damn it, I'm never gonna show that there's Chanseys on this route to anybody. Nobody's gonna believe me.
That's how you become that kid.
He always was that kid.
The thing is, my main prevailing memory of Gen 2 is being disappointed with Kanto, if I'm honest, which is not a great one.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's not great.
But that's all I have.
I remember vividly knowing almost everything about the game before it came out because there were translations and stuff on the internet about like the Japanese versions because they took so long to come out those days to get localized and translated and stuff. So I knew everything about the game before it came out, and I was excited to get to Kanto, and I remember when I got to Kanto being happy with it anyway, because kind of like I knew what I was getting in for. Probably my most vivid memory, though, of actually playing the game was the day I got it, and my best friend and I got it on the same day. We sat in the back of the car, like side by side, playing it at the same time, picking which starters we were going to get, stuff like that. Like the real cliche stuff, but like it just sticks with you, you know?
I didn't understand daylight savings time then.
No.
I don't understand daylight savings time now.
No one does.
Fuck daylight savings time.
It always messes me up, and I hated it in Pokemon. I hate it in real life. But yeah, that's Gen 2, I guess.
Alright.
Gen 2. Woo.
Well, I guess once again it's time to depart.
On to the good shit.
It's time to depart. Everybody get on your fucking surfing Pokemon and get your trumpets out.
Get our trumpets.
Now everybody get in this truck, we're moving to Hoenn.